Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome back to Grow Roots. This is Shannon and today I'll be taking you on the February 2024 my backyard garden tour. As my 8th grade history teacher always used to say, the sun is shining, the birds are tweeting, it's a great day to be alive. It is absolutely beautiful here in North Texas, and we have had some warm, very spring-like temperatures. The lows have only been getting into the 40s, some nights even the 50s and the 60s. It's crazy. We've had highs as high as 79 degrees this past week, and then this coming up week we are headed for another warm up. It's supposed to be almost 90 degrees here on Tuesday, and the average first 90 degree temperature for us, even in North Texas where it is extremely hot, our average 90 degree first day is in I think they said May 11th. We are not even in March yet. Oh my goodness gracious. I hope that doesn't mean that we're going to have an extraordinarily hot summer, but we will see. I will take the good weather as it comes now. It is absolutely beautiful, and as you can see, the garden is starting to come alive and starting to believe that it is spring, although we still have a couple of weeks before our first day of meteorological spring. So happy almost spring, everybody. So here we go. I'm going to start over here as I usually do. Just going to show you some of the new life. What's most obvious right now is that I have daffodils that are planted. This is just a naturalizing mix of daffodils, and I think I planted some a few years back, but I believe those have died off. All that I'm seeing right here, I think, are the ones that I picked up and planted. I planted them the first week of January, and these are just naturalizing bulbs that I got. Hey, say hi to Chloe. There's Chloe. She's always in my backyard garden tours. She is our backyard cat. Okay, anyway, I picked these up for $1 at Walmart at the end of season clearance, and they are really starting to show their beauty. They're just, oh. Hi Chloe, do you love the daffodils too? Those are gorgeous and coming up. I also have a pot of tulips. These are pink mixes from Sam's Club. I have them fully blooming in the front yard. The backyard is just a little bit behind the front yard, and I think it's because my backyard faces north, and right now the sun is more situated in the wintertime towards the south, so my south facing garden is definitely ahead of my north facing garden. But you can see I still have some of the flowers are starting to come up, and they'll open here pretty soon. I have dianthus right here that I'm still waiting for this plant to bloom. I had a bunch of them from seed spring of last year, so these plants are officially 1 year old now, and they still have never given me blooms. This type of dianthus is, gosh, I think it's double sweet William pinks, something like that, from Botanical Interest, and they have grown really well. They're super hardy, but I just have not seen them bloom. They're supposed to bloom right now, but not yet. Here is just a magnificent picture. Oh my goodness. I absolutely love this Mr. Goodbud sedum. My first spring with it, the first time I get to see these little, gosh, they look like rosebuds to me, don't they? They look like, oh, they're just absolutely beautiful, but they're definitely coming to life. I have a row of dwarf pink Mexican petunias that are right here that they are only hardy down to zone 8, and we had zone 7 temperatures at one point this winter, so I was a little worried about them coming back, but I hope you can see this. Let me get a little bit closer. Here is one of them that is coming back to life, and then that one, and this one, and then that one. So they all survived zone 7 temperatures. So dwarf Mexican petunias, they're the pink shade, definitely a great plant, and they survived more than they said they would. So more extreme cold temperatures than the tag said. Here is one of the most fascinating things in my backyard right now. I absolutely love it, and I know many of you have said that, you know, keep me updated on this plant. I really want this plant, or some of you even have this plant and said it's amazing. This is the double play Candy Corn Spirea. and I picked this up on clearance at Rooted in Pilot Point, and it's actually already starting to turn colors from the red. So I experienced about 2 weeks ago, it started to leaf out, and the foliage on that was a bright red. It is already starting, so it's bright. It went from bright red to now it's turning a little bit orange. It's so funny, like it's the opposite of what you think of for like fall colors. You know, things turn yellow, then orange, then red in the fall, and then the leaves die off. Well, this plant is the opposite of that. Like the first foliage is red, now it's turning yellow and orange, but it's absolutely spectacular. 4 seasons of interest for sure. I cannot wait to see what this does all throughout the seasons this year. But there's a beautiful view of the daffodils and the sun just coming in on them. It's absolutely amazing. I have a limelight hydrangea right here, and I just got done pruning it. I'm actually rethinking this branch. I think I need to prune this branch a little bit shorter to about here, to be honest, but it is showing signs of life as well, if I could get that. Yep, there you go. It's got new branches coming on. The buds are swelling and giving us new life. More dianthus over here. I have echinacea, a white swan echinacea right here that is not coming to life yet. I also have a purpurea echinacea right here, not coming to life quite yet, but that's okay. So moving on. Oh, I also have other plants that are not coming out quite yet. Still sleeping is Plumbago ceratostigma here, and another one over there. It's a ground cover perennial plumbago. It's amazing. Over here is something I'm not super sure about. This is my summer carnival hibiscus, and I'm not sure if it's alive. It had transplant shock when I transplanted it and then defoliated, but it was, I think that it maybe just went into dormancy early because it was late fall, and that's what I'm hoping for. I don't see too much signs of life, although I did dig down here and I covered it back up, but I dug down and it looks like that base of that stump and that stump is still alive. So I think it is still alive, and I'm praying that it is, because it's a beautiful plant. Summer carnival hibiscus. Over here I have a new, I guess you could call it a trellis, an obelisk that I will be growing some clematis on. I picked up 2 bare root clematis at Walmart. I wasn't going to go the bare root route because I haven't had success with bare root plants in the past, just getting them even to emerge with growth. But when I was at Walmart, I saw the bare root clematis Jackmani, and then also, gosh, I think it's Henry something. It's a big purple flower. And they were bursting with new growth, so much so that the new growth had poked through the plastic of the bare root plastic, and it was already at least 6 inches long, the new growth. So I picked up 2 of those. I'm going to be having them climb on this because I think it will be just beautiful. My plan this spring is to have my whole backyard fence almost covered with vines. And I don't want the clematis to grow on that fence, but I am growing annual vines, purple hyacinth bean, black-eyed Susan vine, and I am also growing morning glory blue pickety. And I have started those seeds. They are growing, and I hope to fill this backyard fence with vines. And you know, there's my star jasmine vine, and the vine is dead. I need to go back and cut that in or cut that back. And there's another one here. There's another one way down there. I picked up, like you can see, this netting. It was $5 for one of these, and it's, gosh, I don't even know. That's got to be 10 or 12 feet. And Chloe's getting stuck in there. Chloe, maybe that's not a good idea. She says, I've had this up for a couple weeks and she's not gotten stuck in it. But anyway, I picked that up for $5, and I'm just hoping it'll be easier for the vines to grow up, and hopefully you just won't even see that. Okay, up here to one of the only pots that I still have on my patio. I have strawberry plants and a rosemary plant, and they survived. And this is, let's see, seascape strawberries, And I was coming in and cutting all of the dead stuff out this week, and I found this. Oh my goodness, we're gonna have strawberries soon. It's just so awesome. And I've got, oh, this one has more strawberries. This one doesn't have as many, and it doesn't get as much sun right now. That's why. So that's fun. Also, I have a blue agave, and it was doing so well until I covered it with mulch. When we got like those zone 7 temperatures, I covered it in mulch almost, and I left the mulch there. I shouldn't have done that. It did not like it. It's losing the outer leaves. It's still alive here, and it's doing okay. But also, Chloe, stop. Chloe, I think, has damaged some of the tips as well. She likes to rub up against them, even though they're super sharp. Silly girl. Oh my goodness. I have a Texas sage here that kind of partially defoliated during the zone 7 temperatures, but we've got some new life coming up. Do you see that? All of those empty spaces are starting to fill in, and got all kinds of new foliage there. So it's doing good. I'm going to back up a little bit so that you can see my sunshine ligustrum. I have tree formed it. You can see down there. And it looks, well, before it started growing like crazy, it looked just like a beautiful lollipop. So I just love tree formed things. And the sunshine ligustrum plant is a great plant to do that with. I have another pot that has some tulips. Just as many as the other one, but this one just has not done as well. Again, probably not as much sun as the other pot based on the time of year. So yeah, more tulips forming there. I have a crepe myrtle here, and it is getting new life. This was a baby from my neighbor's crepe myrtle tree, and it seeded itself kind of in my side yard. So I picked it and I grew it and babied it a little bit, and I didn't know if it was going to survive, but it sure did. And it's coming up with new life as well. So exciting. Down here, I have an echinacea right here. It is Cheyenne Spirit. I think that's what it is. It's like corally, orangey colors. It's beautiful. I have another dianthus there. I have some ajuga, burgundy glow ajuga that I transplanted. There's another one here, but it's much smaller. I have 4 of them growing at the base of my sunshine ligustrum. They are doing pretty well. Got my jasmine plant there. I've got another Texas sage, another dianthus, and I've got another little tuck, thing of daffodils and tulips, and they are doing really well. I have another panicle hydrangea here. This one is a baby limelight. This is a propagated limelight hydrangea. The other one's over here. Woo, look at that growth actually. All right, we are getting started. But this is a baby from a big limelight hydrangea that I had in my yard that didn't make it in the heat of last summer. So I did have 2 sticks that I had propagated last spring, and they did very well and grew for me. And I planted this one here in hopes that it would do a little better because it is a little bit more shaded here. Still almost full sun, but also shaded in the afternoon. So hopefully we will get, some good life out of that one. Let's see. Right here I have some canna lilies, and they are kind of starting to come to life as well. Just a little bit of life going there. I had a bunch right here that I took out because I'm putting some vines here to grow all the way up. Hopefully the sun doesn't get you guys. I have it is a water feature that is currently not working, but it is still a beautiful square arch that we have. And I'm gonna have hopefully annual vines growing all the way around this year. That's my vision, and so I hope that comes to life for sure. That's gonna be absolutely beautiful. But I took out canna lilies here and there to make room to plant those annual vines. Here I have pink muhly grass that is also coming to life. I trimmed this back maybe even a little bit too late, because you can see I did trim like the very, very tips of the new growth, which will be brown, but that's okay. Just very, very little damage there, but it's coming. Another jasmine vine is there. And this is what I came to see this morning, because I haven't checked on it in a couple of days. This is coral honeysuckle. It is a vine that is native here to Texas and does very well in the Texas heat. So I picked it up on clearance last year, late last fall, along with many others. And I was taking a walk in our neighborhood, and a neighbor has a more established coral honeysuckle that is already flowering. But I'm looking on this guy, and there is tons of new growth, especially down there. All of that is new growth. These are the old leaves that pretty much stayed evergreen. It did lose some of its leaves, and some of them were looking kind of sad, but all of this is new growth, which is amazing. I don't see any flower buds quite yet, so that's okay. So mine is younger, less established. There's a little bit of new growth on those as well. Very cool. So can't wait to see what this vine does. Very exciting. We've also got the Midnight Marvel hibiscus, and I've cut that back. There's no signs of life on it quite yet, but that's expected. These things come to life almost the very last thing, to the point where you think it's dead, and then, oh look, there's growth. So that's not quite there yet, but it's definitely alive, no doubt in my mind. I have more canna lilies planted over there. And let's go take a look at my Tangerine Beauty crossvine that is growing on these beautiful trellises. Look at that. Wow. These are pretty exciting. Again, native to Texas, and lots of new growth is starting on these as well. You can see this is also an evergreen vine, and it was true to its name of being an evergreen vine, but you can see, look at that new growth. I'm hoping to get it. Here we go. So spectacular. Okay. Also, let's see, this one, I don't think I'm seeing a whole lot of buds, but I am seeing buds on one of mine that I'm super excited. So I'm gonna have flowers pretty soon. The Tangerine Beauty crossvine has beautiful coral colored flowers, and they bloom from spring until fall. Now mine did bloom last year. They were babies. They were this big, y'all. That's how bitty they were. They were $12.50 at Green Acres, and now they have grown and, you know, done a pretty good job of trying to fill in these trellises. They're spectacular. Lots and lots of growth, but you can see from this picture, this is what the blooms look like. It bloomed a little bit for me last year, sporadically throughout the season, but I should have tons of blooms coming up. And let me show you some buds that I can find. Let's see. Definitely on this one. Where did they go? So there we go. There's a little bit of buds forming right there. Okay, so I had to go up onto my actual patio to find the buds that I have seen forming. But here we go. Look at that view with the sun poking through. Oh, it's so pretty. Okay, so here's what I'm talking about right there. Those are new flower buds that are forming, and they're all over this particular plant. You could see those right there, right there. They're just everywhere, to be honest. Up here, coming over to this one, let's see, that's mostly new leaves right there. Let's see if we can find more on this plant. Yeah, this plant is a little bit further behind than the other plant, which is so interesting. I've noticed this with when my star jasmine was on these trellises as well. It's just each individual space in your garden is like a little microclimate, a little micro environment that is different than the rest of your garden. And so this trellis always has more growth and is further along. And then as we go this way, more towards the north, it's just less vigorous, less, you know, a little bit further behind. And that's kind of what I'm seeing on the new growth on these, as well as the flower buds that are forming on these. It's just very interesting. I've got this ready to go. I'm probably going to do some flower seeds in this, which I have done in the past. I'm also thinking about doing some annual vines in here so that they can intermix with the Tangerine Beauty cross vine, but I'm unsure about that. Let me know what y'all think about mixing annual vines with perennial vines. I don't want to choke out the perennial vines in any way, so I may not do that. But I don't know. Here is another one of my propagated limelights that is just, oh, there is a spider web, is coming to life. See that? You see those new growth points coming alive there. It's all very exciting. It's definitely thinking that it's springtime here. So I wanted to show you up here. These are all of the plants that have been in my house that I overwintered, that used to be out here. I just wanted to show them to you real quick as an example of plants that you could take inside if you wanted to save them, and they would do just fine over winter. So this is foxtail fern. I had 3 of them in hanging planters, right there, and right there. And I just really love them, and I hated to see them die. They're not hardy here in zone 8. I think zones 9 through 11 they are. So anyway, I had 3 of those that I've overwintered. I also overwintered some of my Pinto Mix Coleus that it blooms even indoors. If it has a bright window, it will bloom, and it just has such great color, and I hated to see that go as well. I wanted to overwinter some of it. So these were cuttings that I've had going since late fall that are kind of, all of the cuttings are in this one plant, and it's just beautiful. So there's that. I also have tricolor sweet potato vine that it had a little bit of a hard time depending on where it was. I grew them under grow lights, and some did really good and some did not. I also have this, which is my Proven Winners Double Up Pink Begonia. I split, see, it was growing in this pot, and there were 2 plants originally. It was enough for me to divide it into, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do I have 4 of them? No, 5. I have 5 plants that I split up the root ball into 5, and I overwintered them, and 2 of them are blooming. Look at this. They started blooming in my house. So I will be planting those up in shade locations. And so there's another one. I have another sweet potato vine that is a purple. So I have, I think, 2 or 3 of these, and I have 2 or 3 of the tricolor sweet potato vine that I have wintered over. So I'm getting them acclimated to being outside again since the temperatures are so amazing. Here is the sweet potato vine, the tricolor, that did really well. I hope you can see the pink in it. That is an actual pink color. It's so pretty. It's striking. So I really love this plant, and I'm glad that I overwintered it, because it also added to the plants in my home. Like, you can grow them in your house. Here's another begonia, and here are the clematis, the bare root clematis that I was telling you about, that are now leafing out. Look at this. $5.42 at Walmart. This was all ready. You know, when I purchased it a week ago, it was probably like this, and like these leaves weren't fully out. They were just starting to form, and now they're out. This one is the HF Young clematis. That's right. These will have big purple flowers. And then this one, yeah. Ooh. This one is the Jackmani. Oh, the foxtail fern is trying to take over. This one is the Jackmani, and again, I've only had it for about a week, and it's just growing like crazy. So that's super exciting. While I'm over here, I also just briefly wanted to show you these 4 large pots that I have. This area is full shade, and I decided to try hostas that I had gotten on clearance last year. And yes, 3 out of the 4 have brand new growth. I don't know if you can see that, but that is brand new growth in 3 different areas. No, 4, 5, okay. This one is Shadowland Diamond Lake. Again, I got this on clearance. These were $1 at Callaway's at the end of this season. And then this one is Shadowland Woo La La. And you can see it is coming along. This one has a little tiny growth point, I think. But not a whole lot of growth on this one. This one is Ellerbroek Hosta. And then this one does not have any new growth at all. And this one is the Elegans Blue Hosta. So we will see if that one survives. Not totally sure. That one, not super sure about it either. Like there's this little green thing right there, but it doesn't look like the other hostas. It's definitely coming from that root ball though, and it's sturdy. So we'll just see what happens. This is my part shade slash shade side yard. This is the east side of my house, and this particular area is like a part shade area. From there to there is like a full shade area, and then I have another portion that's under normal circumstances in the summertime. It's also part shade way back there. So it's kind of, like I said, different microclimates that I had to figure out. And then once I figured that out and planted accordingly, I started having things really do well. So let me show you what I've got. This is a little guy. It's a pink skullcap Texas native plant that I planted here. Oop. I pulled out some canna lilies that were right here that I did not want. I just felt like it wasn't the right spot for them, but looks like I missed one because there's a canna lily coming up. Let me show you. Where did I have? Okay, so I had a peony and I did see new growth, but now I can't find it. It's around where this pole is. I made sure of it. Yes, there it is. So that little thing is a peony. I forget which type it is because I had gotten 2 types. One of them definitely didn't make it through the summer. This one kind of did, but I thought it had died at the end. But it is bursting with new life here, and it's I'll pop the name of it on the screen. I just don't know. This will be its 2nd season, and I felt like it struggled so much last year that I just wasn't sure that peonies were gonna work in my garden with the heat that we're having in the summertime. Here is a Carex, beautiful variegated. It's awesome. A lot of this is brown, but is it coming back to life quite? Yeah, it is. We've got some new growth coming in there for sure. It's just taking a little longer than I thought it was going to, but it's a great plant. I have a boxwood there that did really well. We have a daylily that is coming up here. It has beautiful coral flowers. I had amaryllis that was back here and right here that I hoped would overwinter. As a matter of fact, is that one of them? Let me see. Let's see. There it is. Oh, look, I think it did survive. This is the baby. And it does have new growth right now. Oh, yay. That is so exciting. So I think it did survive, which means I'm going to get amaryllis blooms in the springtime. There was another one back here, but I covered it in mulch, so I think it will emerge fairly soon. That is exciting. I did not know if it would survive. I had some purple heart back here. So it looks like some of it did survive and is coming back up. This is a rose mallow. We won't see signs of life for a while. I planted some perennial vinca ground cover, so that's doing pretty well back there. This is 6 endless summer hydrangeas, and this will be what, their 3rd season, 3rd spring in the ground, and they're coming up beautifully. And I do need to, I don't think I did get to go in here and clean these up. So some of these branches are dead and need to be trimmed away. But again, I don't mean prune. I just put out a video on pruning hydrangeas and all the different types and when to prune them, when not to prune them. So please watch that video. But right now, all you want to do with endless summer hydrangeas is find the dead stuff and the spindly stuff and the stuff that is problematic and cut that away before too much happens. So like this, I'm not sure about that. Actually, okay, yeah, this one is dead. That one can just be cut away. But again, most of the time it's the interior growth with endless summer hydrangeas. I think this one died off potentially, but it did have a new growth that died. These guys can go away. But anyway, you can see the new growth. They're doing pretty good. So that's what these guys are. Coming over here, this is the part shade area of the side yard again. And I have more daylilies, the same type, the coral flowers. I have Turk's Cap Pink here. And it was a clearance plant, end of fall. I'm not really seeing new growth on it. And a lot of people are saying their Turk's Cap does have new growth. So I'm starting to wonder. It's pretty sturdy in there. So, we will find out, but it is a beautiful plant. Oh my goodness. And look, the star of this side yard, this part shade area is going to be this oak leaf hydrangea. I'm amazed at the new growth already. Look at this. So this all the way up is brand new growth. And same with this area. All of this brown is new growth. And it's just, oh, I just can't wait. I hope that it blooms for me this spring. But this is a dwarf Alice in Wonderland oak leaf hydrangea. So absolutely beautiful. And then I have an abelia that my neighbor gave me. And she probably, I need to wait until she blooms. And then I'm going to prune her down a little bit. But she's not blooming. I have to look it up again. This is a new plant for me. This is a kaleidoscope abelia, and I need to see when it blooms because I know after it blooms is the right time to prune it. There's just a lot of interior. Well, it's all, hold on, see if I can get this. The interior is budding up with new growth. So hopefully it won't look so bare in the middle after a little while. So that's kind of exciting. And then over here I have Mexican petunia, the irregular purple variety. Oops, sorry. And it is not showing signs of life quite yet. So the dwarf Mexican petunia pink is showing signs of life. This one is not, so we'll keep an eye on that. All right, so that concludes the February 2024 backyard garden tour. I thank you guys so much for coming along and coming with me. I'm gonna come back here. I thank you all so much for watching. Please hit that subscribe button so that you can be notified of my garden tours. I will be doing one for my front yard and my backyard every single month in 2024, and it's going to be an amazing year for the garden. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a fantastic day. Bye.